I have sort of a bit of a technical question, I guess. So if you bring on a client, do you typically recommend one way or another versus say, if they're going to start an in-language domain, would you recommend, okay, let's get the country-specific domain, .com.mx, or are you going like foldering with like the hreflang tagging, or does it kind of depend on the circumstance, I guess?
Well, so basically, yeah, and any international SEO who has any experience at all is just going to tell you it depends, which is a terrible answer. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper.
Sure. Good.
So okay. So let's take the case of the lawyers in Indianapolis, right?
Yep.
They're not targeting based on country. They're targeting based on language. And so for them, a subfolder or a subdomain is going to be a better choice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from an SEO perspective, you guys know for sure that a subfolder is a much better choice just because you're going to get some of that trickle down from your domain and you're just going to have higher authority from the start, right?
Right.
And then you have the subdomain. That's a better option if you're going to have like third parties involved, or if you want to do a different website layout and design. It's going to be a lot easier for you to like basically install a new WordPress theme and kind of start from scratch, as it were, there. And then I've also seen lawyers and car dealerships who basically just start from scratch with a new domain, and like that basically becomes like a branding question more than an SEO question, right? Like if you're going to brand everything super close to what you're doing in English, then you're fine with the subfolder. But if you're going to try and create a new brand, maybe you're going to have just the Spanish-speaking salespeople on the front page, or and you're going to do kind of a different project, then you're going to want to go with a new domain. Now, as far as like when you're going international, again, like I think the most important situation when you want to get a CCTLD, for those who don't know, CCTLD is a top-level domain that's for specific countries. So .es for Spanish, .mx for Mexico, .uk for the Brits, and like basically like we were talking offline about a situation where you're working for a hotel brand. Well, you have physical locations in all those places, so you have to have you've got to go find and buy those CCTLDs and have your sites there, because otherwise it's just not going to be as great of a signal. The other thing that I've like as over time I've realized is that especially once you get to like these bigger e-commerce sites or like sites that just have thousands or hundreds of thousands of pages, is it's like a dial, right? Like you might use the CCTLDs right now and it doesn't do anything for you, but if you pull back and you build your domain authority and you create more content and you do all these other things, and then you try that CCTLD again, it might be that you see an uptick there. And because like there's some debate there as to whether CCTLDs are actually like a signal, especially in Spanish, to Google as to whether you deserve to rank higher, or whether that matters more versus hreflang, or whether it matters at all. Because the other thing that you have in Spanish especially is that there are like the premium domain is .com still, right? Like we'd all rather have a .com, and so you have a lot of websites that buy the .com for their brand name or for their keyword .com. And so how do you differentiate between that and the .mx, right? Like who deserves to rank better? So it gets to be a little muddled once you like dig in. It's difficult. Now, so did I just give you a longer version of it depends?
That was great.
Yeah.
But hopefully that gives you a little bit of background on why, right?